friends, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I am Regina Monique and this is Woman of Your Word. And in today's video I am going to be doing a get ready with me. Honestly, I didn't know what else to film and I wanted to do one of these when I was at the beach, but I didn't wake up in time to get it done, so we're gonna do it today. So I'm just getting started here, just doing some toner on my face. I always start obviously with the clean face. I've already washed my face with the Neutrogena transparent face bar, and I'm cleaning it here with the Neutrogena 2-in-1 toner. I suffer from adult acne, so it's important that I stay on top of keeping my face clean and using products that really kind of help that acne. Now I am putting on my face primer by e.l.f. It is the acne prone primer. I can't remember the exact name of it, but I'll put it on the screen. And then I'm going with another primer by e.l.f. That is the shine control oil control primer, and I'm just going to take that and go over my T-zone, because that is where I get the most oily. But the important thing to remember, or that I have learned with getting ready and doing makeup, is you got to have a clean face. And so you want to make sure you take care of the skin that is underneath your makeup. Here I'm using a foundation stick by Black Radiance, and it's in the shade Cocoa Bean. But I'm also going to take my Maybelline foundation and go over that. And I like to mix the two together because I feel like it gives me the perfect shade. And just blend, get it in really good. I prefer to use a brush for my foundations. I do use a sponge when I'm doing my concealer, but for foundations, I prefer to use a brush instead of a sponge. I feel like a sponge soaks up a lot of product, even if you wet it or get it damp beforehand. And so to make sure that I'm getting the majority of the foundation on, I just prefer to use brushes. All right, next we're going to go in with the concealer. This is the e.l.f. Camo Concealer in the shade Deep Chestnut. And if you know me from the beginning, I used to not be a makeup girl like that. Like, it used to just be foundation and eyeshadow, not eyeshadow, foundation and eyeliner and lashes and lip gloss, and that was it. It's only been recently that I've really been getting into experimenting with makeup and really learning how to do it. There have been a couple of beauty gurus on YouTube that I have started to follow and really learn from. And so I've enjoyed just learning, doing new things and seeing what's worked for me. Makeup can be very expensive. And so I prefer to use drugstore brands. You can certainly use whatever you can afford, but as for me and my house, okay, we're going to use these drugstore products because they work just as good, I feel like. But I am blending that concealer just to give a little bit of a highlight in the center of my face. The other thing that you have to know about makeup too, if you're a beginner, and I would definitely consider myself a beginner, is that you have got to learn to trust the process, especially if you're not used to seeing yourself, with a lot of it, or just applying all of the different layers. Like, you've got to trust the process. You're gonna look really crazy until the very end when you bring it all together, but each step has, you know, serves its own purpose, has its own purpose. And so you have to trust the process. All right, now I'm going to go in with my loose setting powder. This is also by Black Radiance. This is a honey, I think the color is honey, but it's as light as the e.l.f. Camo Concealer. And I'm going over the top of my concealer just to set that in. Now remember what I said about trusting the process, because I look extremely crazy right now. But it will come together. It really does come together at the end once you get everything where it's supposed to be. Every product has a purpose. And once you learn what that purpose is and you really learn how to blend, blending is also very important. It really does look good in the end. Now I'm taking another loose setting powder, and I'm using it as an all over face powder to set in my foundation, because anything you put on that's liquid or cream, you need to set it with the powder so that it does not move. So I'm using a darker loose setting powder, and I'm putting that everywhere I did not, you know, apply any concealer. So everywhere that I put my foundation, just to set my foundation. And I chose a different shade because I didn't want it to be the same shade as the center of my face. Like, I want the highlight to stay at the center of my face. Now we're gonna go in with our BH Cosmetics nude palette. It's usually like some sort of pink or mauve or something like that. I'm really into those colors because I feel like they look best on my complexion. For me, I haven't really ventured out into the more bold colors. I think the most bold color that I have worn has been like a really deep purple. But for the most part, I'm staying pretty neutral. So it's pink enough that you can notice it, but not so incredibly loud, like it's like, you know, way out there or two in your face. But these nude colors tend to feel very safe for me as a beginner. And so I'm taking the eyeshadow applicator, and I am basically I am patting it in or pressing it into my lid. Now I have hooded eyelids, and so I don't really have the crease, I guess. Like, I have a crease, but it's hooded. My eyes are hooded, so I don't know how to explain it, but I'm pressing that, you know, into my actual eyelid. And then I'm taking a eyeshadow blending brush and just putting that over the top in the brow bone area, covering the entire eye. Now the reason why I pressed in that first part with the eyeshadow applicator is because my eyes tend to crease on the lid, and so I wanted to make sure I had enough of that product pressed in. I do have an eyeshadow primer that I use, but some days I have time for that, some days I don't. And actually my concealer can act as a primer as well. You'll see me grab that foundation brush a few times. Now we're going to take my bronzer, which is by the Lip Bar. And I actually stumbled across this in TJ Maxx one day. I don't contour. I prefer to just bronze instead of contouring. And so I'm taking that bronzer and putting it under my cheekbone, in the forehead, in my temple area, and it just kind of gives you a sun-kissed look. But what I really love about bronzer is that it gives you the shadow that you need in the places you need the shadow, but then it helps the center of my face even appear to be even more brighter, because I want the center of my face to be highlighted. We're going to take our e.l.f. blush. I have another blush palette by BH Cosmetics, but today I want to use this e.l.f. blush. It's my favorite one. I do not know what color this is, but it's my favorite blush, shade of blush. And we're just going over those cheekbones just above where I bronzed. And you can take it up around the side of your face too if you want to. I've seen a lot of people even put it on their forehead, but I like to stay right in the cheek area. Sometimes I fill in my brows, sometimes I don't. Today is not one of those days that I will fill them in, so I'm just taking my spoolie and brushing them out. As you can see, I have very full eyebrows. Gonna get my lashes ready now. And I'm using a lash glue by Kiss. Now, the trick with lashes is that glue has got to be tacky. If it's not tacky, you can forget it, sis. That eyelash is not gonna stay on. It's gonna slide around on your eye, and you're gonna be mad and have a whole attitude because the eyelash is not gonna cooperate. So I glue my lashes, or I put the glue on the lash first, then I go and I move on to something else, right? I'm gonna move on to putting on my eyeliner and doing a couple of other things, and then I'm going to come back to that lash and put it on because I want to make sure that that glue is tacky enough so that when I apply it, it will stick the first time. We just doing a basic line your waterline look. Very basic, very simple. And I apologize about the camera angle. In a second, when I go to put these lashes on, my hands are going to be in the way. You can kind of see it a little bit, but I should have had the camera in the front of me instead of to the side of me, so I apologize about that. But you get the idea of what I'm doing. All right, now I'm going to do my bottom waterline. And I have very, very, very tiny lashes. I don't wear mascara because to me, I feel like it's pointless because my lashes are so thin and so tiny. Like, I just don't feel like you would be able to see it. People say that, like, well, that's the whole point of wearing mascara, so that you can see your lashes, but I just don't really see or can tell that big of a difference. I have several beauty moles on my face, and I love to darken them up just so that they're more visible. Because they are covered by the foundation and the concealer. You can't really tell, so I just go over them with that black liner just so that they stand out. Now I'm going to smoke out my bottom lash line with another palette from BH Cosmetics. Pro tip, although I'm not a pro, but this is a pro tip that I have learned from the pros, is that using a powder on your eyeliner helps to keep it from moving and smudging and running. And it really does help. It really does. So I'm going in that inner corner with it, and it just helps the color to stay, help that eyeliner to stay in place all day. And now it's time to put my lashes on. So of course this video is sped up, but it's been at least 3 or 4 minutes, maybe 5 minutes even. But that lash glue is very tacky, and I always start in the middle. And then once I get the middle down, I go in with the inner corner and then do the outer corner last. And just like that, they're on. Easy peasy. Make sure they curl up. I have been putting lashes on for, oh my gosh, years. And so I have a lot of practice. So I'm lifting my eyelid up so that I can see my full lash line. Get that middle down. Take my inner corner, put it down, and then do the outer corner. Sometimes I get a little disrespectful and I have to use my hand. But they get in line after a while. And then I push them up, make sure they're curling upward. And just like that, they are on. There's me grabbing that that powder brush again. It's still got a little bit of that loose powder on it. I like to take that and just wipe off any fallout that I may have from my lashes, or just clean up, you know, any areas that I feel like need to be cleaned or blended more. I do it if I feel like something is too much and I want to blend it down or tone it down a little bit. I'll take that same powder brush and correct anything that needs to be corrected. I'm very basic. All I'm going to do here is put on a gloss. And that's it for the face. Now it's time for complete transformation. I am a wig wearer. I have been wearing wigs for years. I find them very easy and convenient. And I love that I can switch it up and change styles and all that good stuff. This model is called Outre Adana, or Outre Adana. And it is is this a 13 by 4 or 6? I can't remember, but it's a lace front wig. And I'll be back. And I'm back. But this is one of my favorite wigs. I love a good side pony. This wig is very beautiful. It has a light yaki texture. When I first got it, it was more silky than I wanted. And so obviously the more you wear them, you know, the less silky they are, but it's got a light yaki texture. And when I say light, I do mean light. But it's kind of old now, so it's just the way I want it. Put on my glasses. And we are done. This is the final look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the tribe if you haven't already done so. Turn on your notifications so that you do not miss anything else I have coming up in the future. I love y'all. Bye.